Chapter 9. The Quiet Move. Night settled over the camp without ceremony. No fanfare, no comfort, just the slow dimming of light until everything became shadow and ember glow. Most of the soldiers slept. Kael did not. He stood alone at the edge of the training field, helm tucked beneath his arm, watching the last of the torches burn low. Watching, thinking, replaying, again and again. It made no sense. That was what bothered him. Not the girl. Not Alaric, not even Darius choosing protection over caution. None of that surprised him. Darius had always been predictable, honorable to a fault, soft where it mattered most. That wasn't the problem. The problem was this. The hunt had happened without him, and that was impossible. Kael turned, eyes sweeping the resting camp. Every unit, every tent, every posted guard, accounted for. He had already checked twice, then a third time. All his men present, all Darius's men present, no missing soldiers, no unexplained patrols, no unreported movement. And yet, 2 trained hunters had nearly captured her in the northeast pines. Quiet, coordinated, carrying restraints. Not amateurs, not villagers, soldiers, but not his, not Darius's. So whose? His jaw tightened. That detail itched under his skin worse than anything else, because Kael did not tolerate pieces moving on his board without permission. Earlier, when the ledger had first been exposed in the village, he had acted immediately, quietly, discreetly. He'd sent 2 of his own scouts to sweep the tree line, just to be sure, just to confirm the girl hadn't slipped away with something dangerous. They had returned before dusk, alive, uninjured, confused. She vanished, Commander, one had said. The woods were wrong, the other added. Tracks stopped. Like the ground swallowed her. Kael had dismissed it as incompetence, forest superstition, poor tracking, nothing more, because both men stood in front of him, breathing, whole, which meant they were not the ones Alaric had intercepted. So again, who were they? The question coiled tighter in his chest, because he knew exactly what it meant. If soldiers existed in his operation that he didn't place, then someone else was playing, and Kael hated being second to an unseen hand. He exhaled slowly through his nose. Calm, always calm. Emotion made mistakes. Mistakes lost wars. His thoughts drifted back to her. The girl, the way she'd knelt in the mud. Not defiant, not dramatic, just small. Like someone used to bracing for impact. Like someone who had never once expected the world to choose her. And yet, everything had shifted the moment she appeared. Darius changed. Alaric changed. Even the soldiers listened. One barefoot orphan girl, and suddenly the entire command structure bent around her existence. Kael's fingers tightened around his helm. Annoying, dangerous, useful, because influence like that didn't come from strength. It came from sympathy, and sympathy moved men faster than orders ever could. If she stayed near Darius, she would soften him further, cloud judgment, complicate decisions, turn missions into rescues. But if she stayed near Kael, his gaze sharpened. That was different. That was opportunity. A witness, a victim, a mystery, something the crown would care about, something the capital would whisper about, something powerful men would want close, a piece, a valuable one. If he controlled her, he controlled the narrative, controlled what she said, who she trusted, who she followed, controlled which side she stood on when the time came to choose. And Kael had spent his entire life learning one truth. The board didn't belong to the strongest piece. It belonged to the one who positioned it. A memory surfaced, a quiet room, heavy curtains. A voice from the shadows years ago, measured, patient, promising. Not friendship, not loyalty. Something better, rank, recognition. A future where he didn't stand behind Darius Kaelin's shadow. The king had given Darius command, given Darius praise, given Darius trust, while Kael bled just as much, fought just as hard, won just as often, and still stood second. Always second, not forever. His gaze drifted across camp, toward the command tents, toward the smaller one near Alaric's, where the girl had been placed to rest, guarded, protected, wrapped in blankets like something fragile. Traveler, that was what they were calling her. Because she wouldn't give her name. Smart, cautious, survivor, interesting. Kael studied the tent a long moment, then finally turned away, decision settling into place like a blade locking into its sheath. Not force. Force would push her toward Darius. Not threats. Threats would send Alaric between them. No, he would do what he did best. Smile. Listen. Earn trust. Stand close enough that when the world shifted, she would already be standing beside him. Let Darius protect. Let Alaric swear oaths. Let them play heroes. Kael would play something else, something quieter. By morning, Commander Kael Renard had already decided. He would not chase the girl. He would not threaten her. He would not force her hand. Force drove people toward heroes. No, he would stand close. Listen, wait! Close enough that when the world shifted, she would already be standing where he needed her. Because wars were not won by the loudest strike. They were won by the move no one noticed, until the king had nowhere left to step.